What if the most extraordinary events in history were not accidents, not myths, not exaggerations, but glimpses into a reality that defies everything we think we know? What if there are forces hidden beneath the surface of daily life that occasionally rise into view, leaving even the sharpest scientific mind speechless? Imagine a moment when the laws of physics, the very bedrock of our understanding, seem to collapse. A body burns but feels no pain. A man survives without food or water, far beyond what is biologically possible. A crowd of thousands looks at the sky and sees a vision that no theory, no experiment, no formula can replicate. Such moments are not merely legends. They have been witnessed, documented, and passed down across generations. And yet, science, with all its brilliance, stands before these miracles with folded arms. It seeks explanations, dissects with logic, reduces with theory. But sometimes, there's nothing left to reduce. There remains only the mystery, echoing like a question in the silent corridors of the soul. What if reality is not what we think it is? This is what we will explore today. The miracle that science cannot explain. Not a vague superstition, not a tale told to comfort the weak-minded, but a phenomenon that continues to haunt scholars, mystics, and seekers alike. We will step into the shadows where reason falters and where another kind of knowing, a deeper, ancient knowing, begins to take shape. In this journey, we will first uncover how miracles have been perceived across different cultures and philosophies, tracing their roots through history and esoteric traditions. Then, we will dive into the heart of what a miracle really is. Not just an interruption of nature's laws, but perhaps a revelation of a higher law we have not yet learned to see. From there, we will break down these mysteries into core principles, exploring the possibility that the miraculous is not outside us, but within us, waiting to be awakened. Finally, we will move from mystery to practice. You will learn techniques to sharpen your perception, to expand your awareness, and to glimpse, however faintly, the space where the miraculous becomes possible. So stay with me, because what you are about to hear is not a story about miracles belonging only to saints or prophets. It is about the miracle that breathes within you, waiting for recognition. Throughout human history, the miraculous has always stood at the crossroads between faith and reason, between mystery and explanation. Ancient civilizations did not see miracles as interruptions of natural law, but as revelations of deeper forces that ordinary eyes could not perceive. What we call miracle, they often called sign, omen, or manifestation. To them, the miraculous was not a violation of reality, but a window into its true structure. Take, for example, the temples of Egypt. The priests of the Nile did not view their sacred rites as simple rituals. They believed they were working with hidden energies that could bend the fabric of the visible world. To heal the sick, to call rain, to preserve the body beyond death, these were not mere tricks, but demonstrations of knowledge lost to time. The Hermetic texts attributed to Hermes Trismegistus whispered of a principle: as above, so below. A miracle, then, was the alignment of the lower world with the higher, the reflection of divine order in the realm of matter. In India, the yogis spoke of siddhis, spiritual powers that arise naturally from intense practice. Levitation, clairvoyance, healing, even walking on water, these were catalogued in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, not as fantasies, but as byproducts of mastering consciousness itself. To the modern skeptic, such feats seem impossible. Yet in the ancient world, they were regarded not as miracles in the religious sense, but as natural consequences of inner transformation. The Greeks, too, left us clues. The philosopher Plotinus, in his mystical writings, described the soul's ability to tap into a higher order of reality. For him, the miraculous was not something imposed upon nature, but something unveiled when the soul transcends illusion. Later, early Christian mystics and saints continued this tradition. Healings, visions, incorruptible bodies. These were not viewed as disruptions of nature, but confirmations that divine law surpasses human understanding. Even in the medieval era, we find echoes of this truth. Alchemists, often dismissed as primitive chemists, were not simply trying to turn lead into gold. They were seeking the philosopher's stone, a symbol of transformation that united matter and spirit. Their experiments were both physical and spiritual, and many recorded experiences that today would be classified as miraculous. Visions, inexplicable healings, manifestations of radiant light. What ties all these traditions together is a simple but profound idea. Miracles are not supernatural. They are more natural than nature itself. They emerge when hidden laws, normally invisible, briefly touch the surface of human life. To the untrained eye, this appears impossible. But to the mystic, it is a reminder that reality is layered, and what we call laws of science may only describe the outermost skin of existence. Philosophers have wrestled with this paradox for centuries. David Hume, the Enlightenment thinker, famously argued that miracles were violations of natural law and therefore should not be believed. Yet this very definition betrays a limitation. It assumes we already know all the laws of nature. If higher principles exist, then what appears to be a violation is simply an interaction with forces beyond our current understanding. This is why the miraculous has always been both feared and revered. It unsettles the ordinary mind because it demands that we admit something terrifying, that reality is not entirely in our control, that reason does not hold the final word, and that beneath the predictable patterns of life lies a field of infinite possibility. In every age, miracles have pointed to one essential truth: that human beings are not powerless creatures adrift in a meaningless universe. We are participants in a vast and mysterious order, one that sometimes breaks through in ways that no theory, no formula, and no microscope can contain. To understand the miracle that science cannot explain, we must first ask, what is a miracle really? Most people imagine it as a violation of natural law, a suspension of the rules of physics or biology. But perhaps this definition is itself flawed. A miracle may not be the breaking of natural law, but the revealing of a higher law hidden behind it. Think of a child watching a magnet pull iron filings across a table. To that child, it looks impossible, a violation of logic. But to the one who understands magnetism, it is not a miracle. It is simply a law of nature the child has not yet learned. Now expand that thought. Could it be that what we call miracle is simply the working of laws humanity has not yet grasped? The esoteric traditions suggest exactly this. They describe reality not as a closed machine, but as a living, layered tapestry. The visible world is only the surface, like the tip of an iceberg. Beneath it are invisible dimensions, subtle energies, archetypal patterns, currents of consciousness that shape what we see and experience. When these deeper forces touch the surface, the result can appear miraculous. Consider healing. Modern science explains it as the body's biological repair mechanisms. Yet history is filled with cases of instant healing that defy any known medical explanation. To the mystic, this is not the suspension of biology, but the activation of a deeper principle. That consciousness itself can reorder matter. The body is not merely a machine, but a reflection of the mind. And when higher consciousness intervenes, healing can occur in ways that seem impossible. Or take the phenomenon of shared visions. Entire crowds have reported seeing the same inexplicable sight in the sky or in a temple. Science dismisses this as mass hallucination, but the question remains, how can so many minds hallucinate in unison? Esoteric thought answers by suggesting that consciousness is not sealed within the brain, but is interconnected like waves on the same ocean. When a higher vibration enters that ocean, many can perceive it at once. In this sense, miracles are not intrusions from outside the world. They are revelations from within it. Moments when the deeper laws of existence break through the surface. Just as lightning once terrified humans before they understood electricity, so too do miracles unsettle us because we have not yet mapped the higher strata of reality. And here lies the paradox. Science thrives on predictability, repeatability, and measurement. Miracles defy this because they are not bound to mechanical repetition. They emerge when certain inner and outer conditions align, conditions often involving consciousness, intention, and alignment with higher principles. This makes them elusive, but no less real. Miracles, then, are not random gifts of fate. They are signs that consciousness and reality are more deeply entwined than we dare to admit. They remind us that what we call impossible may simply be the limit of our own perception. If miracles are not violations of natural law but glimpses into higher laws, the next question is, why do they happen at all? Why does the invisible occasionally reveal itself in ways that shake human understanding? One answer is that miracles function as messengers. They are not random sparks of mystery, but purposeful signs, signals from a deeper intelligence reminding us that reality is not as narrow as our senses suggest. Just as a dream interrupts the monotony of daily thought, a miracle interrupts the monotony of material life, jolting us awake. Consider how many miraculous events occur in moments of crisis, transformation, or devotion. They appear not to entertain but to awaken. A miracle often occurs when human effort has reached its limit, when the rational mind has exhausted every possibility and surrender becomes the only path. In that moment of surrender, the deeper currents of reality seem to move, as if responding to the openness of the soul. Mystics across cultures have taught that miracles are not performed, but allowed. They are like sunlight streaming through a crack in a wall. The light is always present, but only when the wall fractures does it flood the room. Likewise, the miraculous is ever present, but only when the rigid structures of ego and reason loosen does it shine through. Yet, miracles are not always gentle. Some come as disruption, even destruction, shaking entire communities. They are not always healings or blessings. They can be visions that terrify, phenomena that defy not only science but sanity. This dual nature reminds us that the miraculous is not under human control. It belongs to a higher order, one that moves according to its own rhythm. From a philosophical lens, miracles also challenge the assumption that consciousness is a byproduct of matter. If consciousness can shape events, alter bodies, or manifest visions, then perhaps matter itself arises from consciousness, not the other way around. This is why so many esoteric teachings insist that the universe is mind first, matter second. In such a universe, miracles are not exceptions but expressions of the deeper rule, that thought, intention, and spirit are primary forces. This understanding reframes the miraculous from something rare to something hidden. Just as radio waves are always passing through us but require the right receiver to be heard, miracles may constantly exist in the background of life, awaiting the right alignment of mind and spirit to become visible. What we call a miracle may simply be the tuning of human consciousness to a frequency usually unheard. But herein lies the challenge. Most people demand proof. They want the miraculous to be bottled, tested, repeated at will. Yet miracles resist such demands precisely because they belong to a realm where intention, faith, and receptivity matter more than control. Trying to trap a miracle is like trying to trap the wind. It blows where it wills, and its mystery is its message. And so we arrive at the heart of the matter. The miracle science cannot explain is not merely an event. It is an invitation to expand beyond the rigid walls of materialism and step into a broader, more mysterious vision of life. An invitation to realize that the extraordinary is not elsewhere, but woven into the very fabric of existence, waiting for us to notice. It is easy to marvel at miracles as if they belong only to saints, prophets, or enlightened beings. But the deeper truth whispered by every mystical tradition is this: the miraculous is not reserved for the chosen few. It lives in the field of consciousness itself. which means it lives within you. The task is not to create a miracle, but to tune yourself to the conditions in which miracles naturally unfold. The first step is cultivating stillness. Miracles often appear when the noisy chatter of the mind has been silenced. In meditation, when thought quiets and awareness deepens, you step into the same space where miracles arise. Start simply. Sit in silence for a few minutes each day, focusing on your breath. Over time, you will notice subtle shifts, moments of clarity, synchronicity, even flashes of insight that feel as though they came from beyond you. These small openings are the same doorway through which larger miracles may emerge. The second practice is alignment of intention. In esoteric traditions, intention is not just a thought, it is a vibration. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions are aligned toward a single higher aim, you create a resonance that can bend the surface of reality. Try setting a daily intention not only for tasks, but for states of being. For example, today I will embody peace, or I will remain open to higher guidance. Over time, you may begin to notice events aligning in uncanny ways, as if the universe itself responds. A third path is cultivating faith, not blind belief, but an openness to possibility. Skepticism closes the door, insisting nothing beyond the ordinary can happen. Faith leaves the door ajar. You do not need to force belief, only to remain willing. Say to yourself, I do not know what is possible, but I am open to seeing. This openness is like fertile soil in which the seeds of the miraculous can grow. Another powerful technique is to engage in practices that expand your perception. Journaling your dreams, practicing visualization, or spending time in nature without distraction. All of these sharpen your sensitivity to the subtle. Remember, miracles often hide in the ordinary. The sudden answer to a question, the chance meeting that changes your life, the intuitive nudge that proves correct. These are not accidents, but echoes of the miraculous operating quietly. And perhaps most important of all, surrender. Miracles rarely occur when we are clutching in fear, demanding control. They arise when we release, when we trust that there is an intelligence greater than our own guiding the process. You may try this in small ways. Release your grip on outcomes. Let go of resentment. Allow life to unfold without constant interference. In this space of surrender, the miraculous finds its way in. Of course, there will be obstacles. Doubt will creep in, and the rational mind will insist that everything must be explained. But treat doubt not as an enemy, but as a test. Each time doubt arises, return to practice. Stillness, intention, openness, surrender. These are the tools by which the miraculous becomes not just an extraordinary event, but a living presence in your daily life. The miracle that science cannot explain may not always come as a flash of light or a dramatic healing. It may appear as a subtle shift, a deep knowing, or a sudden alignment that changes the course of your path. And when it does, you will know. Not because logic has proven it, but because something within you recognizes it as truth. What we call a miracle is not merely a story to inspire awe or strengthen faith. It is a reminder that the universe is infinitely more mysterious than our instruments and formulas can measure. Science, for all its brilliance, offers us a map of the visible world. But miracles hint at a hidden geography, a landscape where mind, matter, and spirit converge in ways we cannot yet comprehend. We have seen that across cultures and ages, miracles were never considered violations of reality, but revelations of it. They are windows into a greater order, signs that consciousness itself is not confined within the walls of the brain, but woven into the very fabric of existence. And when these deeper laws touch our world, we witness what seems impossible. Healing without medicine, visions without cause, events that defy every known explanation. But the greatest truth of all is this: the miraculous is not confined to history or to the lives of saints. It is alive now, moving quietly through your own life. Each moment of deep intuition, each unexplainable coincidence, each sudden shift of inner clarity is a small echo of the same mystery. You do not need to wait for lightning from the sky. The miracle breathes within you, waiting for recognition. So as you move forward, I invite you to carry this awareness with you. Sit in stillness, align your intention, remain open, and surrender. These practices are not ways to force the miraculous. They are ways to notice it, to allow it, to live in harmony with it. And when you begin to see life through this lens, you may discover that miracles are not exceptions to reality. They are the deeper reality itself, shining through the cracks of ordinary perception. The miracle that science cannot explain is not meant to silence reason, but to remind us that reason is only one tool. Beyond it lies wonder, and beyond wonder lies truth. The question is not whether miracles exist. The question is, are you willing to see them?